All right, welcome back. So today we're going to be looking at creative on TryHackMe. This one just came out. I didn't realize that like literally just came out not too long ago. There's not even a write-up for it yet. But we'll go ahead and we'll start this guy off, right? I already did it. Full disclosure, obviously. So let's go ahead and start off with a Rust scan here. That's why this one's not being streamed while doing it because we already did it. So it's going to be a quick one. All right, we see that port 22 and 80 is up, right? So let's go ahead and curl that port 80 like right there. We see we do get this creative.thm back. So sudo nano etc host. I already do have it in my etc host, just not this IP address. All right. So we'll delete all that. I'm just going to leave that beta in there. You'll see how I get to that, okay? So we go ahead. We're going to check out that creative.thm over there. And we'll hit home, and then we'll do a HTTP. Right. So we get this guy right here, right? You start clicking around on it. Couldn't really figure out where to actually go from here. I did a Ferox Buster on it. You get a lot of stuff back, but nothing really useful. So I decided, let's go ahead and try to do a FUF on it, right, for DNS. Okay, looking at HTTP creative.thm. Get that a little bigger for you all. All right, the host. Okay, so we're going to actually be looking at the host, right? Host is going to be fuzz, right? What do we actually want to use this wordless for? Okay, creative.thm. If we enter here, we'll see that we're getting back a whole bunch of 178. So if we do attack FS 178, this means don't show us anything that is 178. That's all that means. Okay, so what we should be able to do with this is figure out different domain names within that creative.thm domain there. So we'll give this a minute. Now remember, when you do get a domain name, you still have to put that in your etc host. All right, just like I have in mine. So if I cat my etc host, right, you can see that I also have beta.creative.thm. Should find it down here, that beta one. All right, and then once we find that, we'll be able to continue on. All right, so in the 13,000s, we find that beta. So we go ahead and we throw that into our etc host, right? And let's go ahead and go to beta.creative.thm there. And we get this URL tester, right? So at first I tried to see maybe I could throw a shell.php to my own stuff, but it's just coming back, just bringing back exactly what the shell.php says. Actually, it's failing to daemonize, right? So we're not getting anything really. Try to pony shell. It actually brings back the little web interface, but you can't do anything within it. Can't type anywhere. There's no command line, anything like that. And then I thought, well, what about server-side request forgery, right? What if there's more ports open on the internal side than there is that we could see, right? So from Hack the Box, thank you very much. Whenever I went through my Hack the Box stuff, we have this, we can do ports.text here, and we can look for different ports, right? So first thing I want to test was, can I actually look at 127.0.0.1? And I can. Okay, this is the site that we saw before, right? So we can see it. Well, what if there's more ports open? Okay, and to be able to do that, we're going to use FUF. So we use FUF, okay? First we want to do a sequencer, right? Pretty much what that is like right there, but I'll show you how to do this guy. So we're going to do a sequence. So we can either utilize, real quick, this command like right here, 4 port IN 1 to 65,535, which is how many ports there are. Or we can say sequence 1 to 65535, and we put that into ports.text. Okay. Now we have that to ports.text. We cat that. You'll see that goes all the way down to 65,535. So that's going to be our word list, ports.text, right? Our URL is going to be that beta.creative.htm. We're making a post request. Okay. Our content type is going to be the application xform URL encoded. Okay. If you don't know all that, you can always just grab Burp Suite, intercept the request, and you can find all this in it. Okay, all this information in here, right? And then we have our domain is going to be URL equals. We know that because if we right click here, we go to inspect. All right. We have name equals URL equals, right? HTTP 127.0.0.1, which we know we can get to, and then we're going to fuzz that with all these open ports down here. So what we should see in the beginning is 80. All right. If we say enter here, we can see that we're going to get back a whole bunch of words of 3. So we'll go ahead and we'll say TAC FW3, or we can say TAC FS13 or something like that, right? The very first one we should get back is port 80. We should see port 80, and we do. So we know that this is now working, right? We know that something's happening here, and it is working at least. So we can just wait for this to run. And you already saw, I believe, well, you may not have on the web page there, that port 1337 is also open. But we'll go ahead and we will look at that here in a second. as soon as we find it over here also. All right, we see that port 1337 is open. So now if we go ahead and we look at that port 1337 now, we can see that we get into the internal system, right? The internal file system here. Now we can't really get anywhere from here because we click on home, we're going to /boot over there, whatever else, right? That's not going to work for us. Suppose we do /home here, hit enter, we have an SAAD. Okay, let's keep going down this line then. So we know that most likely this guy probably has some type of SSH because SSH is open. So let's try to look for his ID RSA. So we'll say home SAAD /.sh/ID RSA. Let's see if we can read that, and we can. Now this is ugly, right? So press Control U, and now it's pretty. So we can copy that, right? We can say echo that guy. Whoops. Echo that. Jeez, let me try again. Echo that into IDRSA. We'll change mode 600 on the IDRSA. And then if we try to use it, it's not going to work. Now, I did look at it, and it doesn't say that it's encrypted, right? But it is. So if we do an SSH-I, IDRSA for SED or SAD or whatever it is, we do get a passphrase, okay? So let's go ahead and do a John to SSH or SSH to John, right? For that IDRSA to hash.text, we'll say John hash.text. All right, obviously I can't do that right now because I already did it, so we'll do a tac show. And we see sweetness as the password or the passphrase. So we'll go ahead and we'll SSH into there. We'll grab sweetness here. All right, now that we're in here, let's go into a sudo tac-l. Oh, that's not going to work. And we need a password, right? So ls tac-la, okay, we had to start server.py. Let's go ahead and cat that like real quick. This is exactly what I did at the beginning. Didn't see anything in here, obviously, but then I saw that bash history is not going to dev null. So let's go ahead and cat that bash history. We scroll up, and we have his password here. So now we have a sudo tac-l. All right, we can see we can do ping. But that's usually what people look at is what can I do, right? Slow down and look what's actually happening here. We have environment keep LD preload. If we have that, that means that we can inject something into ping. All right, so let's go ahead and look at how to do that, okay? So if I hop back over to here, all right, and I go up to my Linux area. Now, I already had this one down here for shared libraries, shared objects, stuff like that, okay? But I also went ahead and just made a new one just to show LD preload under sudo, because that was usually you don't see it under LD under sudo, right? So we'll go ahead and we'll copy this like right here. Is that paste? There we go. We'll copy that, okay? And we will nano shell.sh or root.sh, whatever you want to call it, okay? This one's calling for bin bash tac p, all right? So it's just going to give us straight root, okay? That's what this one's doing, okay? You can always change what this command says, like right here, to whatever you want. Okay, now we need to do a compile it, right? So let's go ahead and compile that. Oh, I called the exploit up here. So let's go ahead and that's supposed to be move shell.sh to exploit.c. There we go. All right, now if we do an ls tac-la, we have an exploit.so and exploit.c in here, okay? Exploit.so is executable. All right, and now we can use that exploit.so for our shared object, right? We can copy this, okay? And pretty much what you're doing now is you're going to use your shared object for user bin ping with LD preload. So we can do sudo LD preload. Where is that shared object at, right? Exploit.so, okay? Home, sad, whatever it is, user bin ping, and we hit enter, and you are now root. So if we see you back in the root, all right, we can see that we can now read root.text. So if I cat that .bash history, right, we can see how we can read things in here. All right, and that is the whole thing. I really like this box because there was the domain enumeration, right, DNS there. We had to do that. We had server-side request forgery. We had to look at ports on there to try to find those different ports. Okay, but it wasn't really anything that was like so, like trying to block us from doing it, right? So I really enjoyed this box. Then from there, a different way to use sudo with LD preload And kind of a different prevent vector like right there. Not something that's insanely hard or like what the heck. This one to me felt like very OSCP like, and it felt very CPTS like. You know what I'm saying? Literally half the things I learned, actually all the things I learned on CPTS, I used it here throughout that training. I used it here. I believe that this like right here, shared objects. This is straight up the Hack the Box page. You know what I'm saying? Shared libraries. I believe that this one is from Hack the Box. Yep, Hack the Box student. Okay, so this is stuff that I learned from them, was able to utilize in this box. So a lot of those things that I learned, some of that, being able to utilize in this box, and I felt this one was a lot of fun for me, and I felt like it was the perfect amount of. It's an easy box, but I felt like it was that perfect amount of easy, and you still had to think about it, still had to do different things, still had to do different techniques, and kind of work your way through it. So hopefully you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. Whoever built it, creative here. Let me see here. Um, yep, Santa Qatar, whatever. Hey, thank you very much. Awesome box, awesome room. Thanks a lot. You all have a good one. I'll talk to you all later.